What we announced is called Daydream, and Daydream's a platform to enable high-quality mobile virtual reality, and it consists of phones with very high specifications to make sure that they can render things smoothly, and really good sensors. And then a reference design for a headset and a controller, so that you can slip your phone into something, have a really comfortable experience, and interact with things richly in VR. And then finally the apps, like YouTube VR. It's something we've been working really hard on.
The componentry required for this has got, particularly processing power, has got to be just massive.
Well, what's exciting is that today's mobile phones actually have enough computing power in them to drive this experience that can really, it can make you think, wow, I'm somewhere else. It's that immersive and high quality.
I tried to do this calculation once to try to figure out how powerful chips and phones are today compared to what supercomputer of what era, and I think I figured out like about a 1987 Cray is what you're carrying around in your iPhone or your Samsung right now.
It's been a while since I did that math, but no, Moore's Law and compound growth is pretty special.
So that's the growth of an existing old industry, right? But you're trying to create a new industry around, right? These are people who don't work at Google mostly, or who are here to develop stuff. Trying to create an industry around virtual reality. I wonder what you think the key drivers of that new and yet imagined, but yet not yet extant industry would be.
Yeah, well, of course, to experience virtual reality, users need something to experience it with, the device, and then also stuff to experience, the apps and games and things that they can do in VR. And so really what we've tried to do is enable what today is the Android ecosystem with tools and componentry to start building all of those different components at once. So we're really making investments across all part of that, from the hardware, the devices, all the way through to the applications and what people can actually do with it.
Give me an example of something that sort of helps iterate that process, helps to keep people developing on the platform.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things we've done is create a controller that we're working with our hardware manufacturers to create more versions of, so that any company making a smartphone can also manufacture alongside it a controller and a headset. So we've done a lot of the hard work of figuring out how to make something comfortable, how to make something great with great optics. It's really nice to use and can create a very immersive experience, and we've handed that knowledge to these companies really to give everyone a leg up in pushing VR forward.
If you had, I won't make you pick one, but if you had to pick one or two or three apps that you think are really going to be the killer apps on VR, what do you think it's going to be?
Yeah. Well, two that I love. One is Tilt Brush, and that's an app that we've made from Google, and it lets you paint in space with light and paper and fire and any other material you can imagine. And artists are using it to create and sculpt amazing things in virtual reality. The second thing I'm really excited about is a version of YouTube that we've rebuilt from the ground up for VR. And it includes things like spatial audio, so that sounds appear to come from where they actually are. And then what it's going to let you do is visit concerts and events and faraway places and experience those like you're actually there, but you're not going to have to fly around the world to do it.
But it's good. You don't get the miles. There's a downside.
There is a downside. You won't get the frequent flyer miles.
There has been some academic work done that suggests that it can be exhausting VR at a certain point, that maybe the immersive game stuff, for example, playing Call of Duty for 18 hours can be exhausting on an Xbox, but in virtual reality it's just too much. And I wonder what you think about that, because certainly some developments are saying that's not going to be true, and people are going to stay with it.
Yeah, VR is certainly more immersive. One of the things that we're really focused on is bringing amazing real-world content into VR. So for example, we've been building this camera called the Jump Camera that lets you capture an environment in VR. Right. And we think that's going to open up some pretty interesting things, like taking you to Machu Picchu or Stonehenge or the Taj Mahal around the world. And there we think there's something very special about VR's ability to transport you other places. And I think that'll be some of the most compelling and widely adopted VR content.